We're told to their influence. What will they think of next? A scuba diving simulator.
I think what Violet's trying to say is what will they think of next is scuba diving simulator. You know what they say, Violet? Realism is everything. We've also got an A to Z of computers on this week's programme. Our main review is Super Bomberman on the SNES.
And I'll be looking inside the biggest computer we've ever had on Bad Influence.
Good, he's gone. Specially designed for those who long to go diving but don't want to get wet. Oceans Below for the PC takes you on an underwater voyage of all the world's most interesting diving locations. So you start off on this map, you can go anywhere you want. Let's check out the Caribbean.
Let's look at a more detailed map so you can select an area to explore.
Okay, so here we are. Let's check out Cozumel. That sounds pretty exotic.
We're now in Cozumel.
Good, because that's where I want to be. All these icons along the bottom here let you do different things. If I click on the binoculars, it'll give me more information about Cozumel.
Caressing the northeast tip of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula.
Well, if it's caressing the northwest tip of Mexico, I definitely want to go there. So let's go in for a dive. You get all of these movie sequences whenever you dive down or come up again, and they're all different depending on where you're diving. Okay, so now we're on the seabed, and this little pointer turns into glasses whenever you can look more closely at something. Let's check out the fish.
Long live the queen angelfish.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Long live the queen angelfish. What's a statue?
You don't see a bronze statue of Christ every day underwater.
No, you don't. What's this over here?
Don't worry, airplanes don't fall out of the sky in Cozumel.
On the box, it says that this is the closest thing you'll get to diving without getting wet.
Man-made objects like
this. But personally, I think I'd rather get wet.
Would you? No sooner said than done, Violet! No sooner said than done!
Oh, hello, Furtlers. I was having a really strange dream that I was in the middle of a cheat when I woke up. Sorry, Furtlers, just grabbing 40 winks. I was having this really strange dream that I was in the middle of a cheat when I woke up. It was for Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy. Anyway, here it is. On the title screen, simply hold down B and select, and you can start the game giving Kirby a maximum of up to 9 lives. There you go. Hey, right. Oh, hello, Furtlers. What a weird dream.
This little chap is the star of our main review this week, aren't you? Oh, yes. It's Super Bomberman on the SNES. You get trapped in a variety of mazes, don't you? Oh, yes. And to escape, he has to plant bombs and blow up everyone else before they blow up him, don't you? Oh, yes. You look so sweet, though. Hey, who's doing the review?
It's Aisha. There are 2 ways to play this game. This one's in single mode against the computer. Isn't really the best way to play it, though. This is level 6 of the single player mode. The idea of it is to kill the enemies and then go on to the next level. Just collected a power-up which allows me to cross over the yellow blockages. Can collect a range of power-ups. I've just bombed a wall that'll kill these enemies. Some of the enemies are harder to kill than the others, such as this yellow one at the top which takes 2 bombs. This is really the best way to play it. You can use 4 players altogether and the game really comes into its own. It gets a bit hectic at times though. The idea of it is to bomb each other, and someone's just killed me, and the one who's left at the end wins. In order to play 4 players though, you need a special piece of equipment called the multi-tap. The graphics and gameplay are pretty simple, but it's very playable. In fact, it's seriously addictive.
This is a brilliant conversion from an old Amiga classic.
This is an excellent game and brilliant fun to play.
And so the final scores for Super Bomberman, the girls gave it an enthusiastic 4 out of 5, and the boys gave it an explosive 5 out of 5.
You can never be sure with the weather, can you? Even here in the studio, they say there's a 1% chance of rain. You want to watch it, Violet, with your luck, you'll be in the 1% zone. Now to this week's report from Z, the latest from his part of the planet, Boston in the States, where he's on top of a weather station.
The weather is the hardest thing to forecast because the wind, clouds, and atmosphere together make a very complex system. You need enormous computing power to make all the necessary calculations to work out what's happening now. Never mind what's going to happen in the future. One of the world leaders in developing computers for use in weather forecasting is a company called Thinking Machines. This awesome beast is the most powerful machine they make here, and it's called the CM5. It costs a cool $30 million, and is a parallel computer. Ordinary computers have only one processor that can only handle one calculation at a time. So if you had a small home computer, it would take you over 5 years to work out tomorrow's weather forecast. But a parallel computer has thousands of processors, so it can do thousands of calculations at the same time, and so it's much faster. Each of these processors is 100 times more powerful than a home computer, and there are over 1,000 of them in here. Weather forecasters develop models of the weather system. They divide the air up into shapes like this, or more complicated ones. The computer then takes a look at what's happening to the moisture and wind in each block of air, based on information gathered from satellites and weather stations. The two main factors which affect the weather are the temperature and the activity of the ocean and the atmosphere above it. The simulation models are tested using real data. Even with a big computer like this, the problem is deciding what information to simplify and what to leave out. It'll be a while yet before they have all the answers. What I can tell you with 100% confidence is that tomorrow's weather will be overcast with slight rain. Now what else uses up lots and lots of memory and processing power? You guessed it, computer graphics. Carl Sims is a graphic artist who helps thinking machines, and in return gets the chance to use their computers for developing his art. Carl has called his concept artificial evolution, where you tell the computer which kinds of images you like, and it does more of them, trying to improve.
We can just keep going, and it can potentially get more complicated and more interesting. Sometimes it will do something crazy and make it completely different, and sometimes it will do something subtle and just make a slight change. But it's completely unpredictable, and I couldn't tell you why exactly that was gray, or even why these pictures look the way they do.
You can choose two of your favorite images and tell the computer to morph and animate between them. Carl's most recent work is a combination of state-of-the-art techniques and artificial evolution called liquid cells. Hello again, Scrotty Furtless. I've built my very own supercomputer. But unlike any other Scrotty supercomputers you may have seen on this programme, I've made mine entirely out of tiny, miniature components. And this is it. I call it the Small Parallel Operations Transputer, or SPOT for short. I can program it by inserting my finger into this orifice. I think I'll ask you for a cheat for Prince of Persia on the SNES. So here we go. Prince of Persia. Ow, ow, on the SNES. Ow, look. Now, once it's calculated the cheat, I can access it by doing this.
On the code screen, enter H8J12 plus Y, and you'll be whisked to the end level with 15 potions ready to do battle with the Grand Vizier.
So, that's H8J12 plus Y, yes, and we get to the final level, yes, with 15 potions. Hey, great! Oh no, the supercomputer, it's fallen off, it must have gone right inside.
The square root of 42 is 6.4807. 465 divided by 7.9 is 58.860. The population of China is 1,083,889,000.
And now for some more games reviews. Burning Rubber is yet another race game for the Amiga. This time you're whizzing around roads in Europe and the United States. Simple enough? Over to Ian.
This is a very basic game with no redeeming features. The graphics are very poor and the car handles very badly, no matter which one you choose. You get this really odd view out of the car. You're looking out of your front window and you see your own car in front of you. This is the Barcelona track. After a while of watching it, the banding on the road made me feel sick, and it's really obvious that the road is moving instead of the car. The background is absolutely pathetic. There's nothing in it. There's no detail on the game, and the obstructions are really unrealistic. Nowhere in the world has these lumps of rock on it. The car looks like a cardboard cutout. It's got no perspective whatsoever.